you on many different aspects of real estate, finance, and investing. Each week, we will expand your knowledge and uncover hidden truths. We will break down real-world scenarios and study actual how-to strategies. Anyone can buy real estate, but together we'll ensure you make smart real estate investment decisions. Now, here's your host, award-winning author, international speaker, and real estate educator, Lisa Gillett.
Happy Wednesday, checking in, you marvelous folks, wherever you are on this still fantastic planet, despite what is going on in the world. All right, make sure you are in control of your inner world, right, as best as you can. I was listening to an audiobook yesterday as I was working out, and it was, I forget the name of the gentleman, and he was talking about a new book called Your Brain is Always Listening, or The Brain is Always Listening, and he's got, he works in the mental health field, and he was speaking about taming the dragon, and there being various dragons. And so, again, I'm happy that I come on Wednesday consistently streaming, because he was sharing just kind of how anxiety and depression and a lot of other things are like an all-time high since the pandemic. And this has been my focus, right? This has been the way I channel a lot of the energies as a result of pre-pandemic, during pandemic, post-pandemic. And now we've got these, we've got war, and we've got, these high interest rates. And I would say the real estate industry, I won't say it's under attack, but it has now come, right? It's now come to the time for it to change in terms of its business model. And that's been, quote unquote, under attack for decades, and since the 1900s. It's not a new thing, but it's now, given the power of technology, the movements with AI, prop tech, we talked about this last week, this is the time and the end of the 6% commission. Boom, boom, boom. So shout out to those of you who are still hanging in there and who are learning to pivot. It's not going to be this big surprise that those who know how to pivot with the change and in the industry will still be here, right? And this is why when I share with people who want to be in real estate, what is your end game? Like, what is the goal? Real estate is long game. It's not short game. And that's why today, my friends, we're going to be talking about warning signs of real estate scams. We are in episode 245. 245. Make sure you drop a 1. Press 1 down below. Lets me know you're here. Say hi, say hello. Press 2 lets me know you shared it and you're sharing the love. Okay. Before I continue, let's jump into some logistics. Let's jump into some logistics. Oh, that's nice. My thing says my phone's acting wonky. Let's see if I just want to do a sound check. So if you are catching us on live, just give me a thumbs up and say, yep, you're good, especially because I'm on a different mic. I'm on the lavalier versus the Yeti. I just didn't know how to set up my Yeti, y'all. I didn't know how to set up the Yeti. So, okay, cool. Whoop, whoop. I appreciate being on LinkedIn, okay? That was like a real game changer for me to be on LinkedIn live and live stream. Because LinkedIn has been, although some people are like, LinkedIn has now become Facebook. Not true. No, not true. Some of you are still using it in the professional way as it should be? Yeah, okay. I thought so. I still am. So I have been inspired. I've been inspired by a recent headline to discuss this. We've talked about scams before. In fact, one of my past guests wrote a book on scams, and my eyes are not here on the camera because I'm looking down at my bookshelf because I have her book here and I'm just trying to see if I can see it from here. I'm like trying to peek over the list of books that I have. She wrote a book on real estate scams, having been scammed herself. I've been scammed, and I've talked about that before. And for those of you who are new to me, welcome. And let me say help. Welcome, hi, hello. And this topic of scams brings me back to shout out to my brother Evan Jefferson on ERGJ. He said the other day, he's like, "Are you doing your classes?" And I'm like, "I haven't. I have not been doing my classes because I'm in class myself." Master teacher, master student, right? This is the role of I think what you should be in life, master teacher, master student. And now I'm thinking now more than ever, we should be doing the class. Now more than ever, bringing classes back. All right. Before I jump into all that, I emailed myself a link because I wanted to make sure. I'm not going to play it because I don't really know how. I don't want to get. Okay, I mean maybe I'll be able to play it. Okay, let's go back then. Shoo. let's let's play it. Okay, maybe it looks like it's gonna work. So let me do this. By the way, I'll be doing classroom style today, so I got a nice brief presentation for us to go through as I set up the screens real quick. So here we go. Oh, you know what I can do? I love the technology here. Listen, okay, I won't fumble around with my screens. We'll be right back after this sponsor break, and I'll do my disclaimers and all that good stuff. Again, we're on episode 245. We're going to be talking about warning signs of real estate scams. If you or someone you know needs, like you're in the middle of hearing this fantastic deal and you're going to make all this money, you need to hit that share button and invite them to tune in or at least catch us on the replay. So let's just do that. We'll be right back after this sponsor break, guys. We'll be right back. Just run the commercial.
We know how challenging it can be to try and sell a home while also dealing with other financial and legal matters. We're here to help. Devenio Estates is the real estate firm you need to make sure your unique situation is handled as quickly and efficiently as possible. Our team of professionals has a combined experience of over 30 years in real estate, construction, and finance industries. As active professionals in the industry, we know the importance of timelines and pride ourselves in providing superior service without compromising integrity. We use industry software and copyrighted proposals so that our real estate agents submit accurate and complete listing information and buyer offers. Our goal is to exceed your expectations and set Devenio Estates as the go-to real estate firm for excellence in advocacy and superior services for our clients. Contact us today to learn more about our services.
All right, let's bring this up real quick. This is where I was going with this thing right here. I don't know if you caught this.
Radio. Investors in a real estate venture say they were swindled out of millions of dollars. And they argue syndicated radio rapper Rashawn Casey, better known as DJ Envy from the show The Breakfast Club, promoted these deals. Investigative reporter Sarah Wallace talked to the alleged victims and has the response to those mounting accusations you're about to hear for the first time.
We've helped so many people, not just regular people, but celebrities, athletes, executives.
That's DJ Envy on his syndicated iHeartRadio show, The Breakfast Club. He's often promoted the real estate venture of his pal, Cesar Pina.
Okay, I'm going to stop that right here. It went really quick, but you all didn't catch this. You all didn't catch this. So he's like, we've helped. Okay, by the way, so DJ Envy, what's his name? Rashawn Casey from the Breakfast Club. He's saying he's being sued, and it's really mainly because it's to sensationalize this lawsuit. Let me bring it all in here. We can bring the conversation in here. And he's saying, this is a clip on the show. This guy, Cesar Pena, and his wife are being sued. And they're saying it's like they were running a Ponzi scheme. Oh, no surprise, right? For me, it's no surprise. And the reason is because when you, like, I didn't even have to jump into finding out what this guy, like what the setup is. Just listening to DJ Envy alone say what he said just now. We're helping celebrities, athletes, they're making millions of dollars. And he asks him, how much are you charging? Nothing. And then she says, she's also the host, I forget her name, but she says, that's not adding up. That's not adding up. I agree. So that's where I'm going with that. Put that in the comment below. Let's put that in the comment. That's not adding up. Okay, drop that in the comments below, because that's where we need to make this make sense, people. We need to make it make sense. That's not adding up. And this guy, unfortunately, this couple. So this was on Channel 4 New York. Brief clip that I shared from an exclusive from the I-Team that had an exclusive interview with Pena's wife. And she goes on to say, I can't speak for him. He wants to be here. He wants to, just wait. He's going to make it right. And he's dropped off jewelry to one of the investors where he says 15 to 20,000 and say, hey, hold this. What? Hold the jewelry? I just gave you 235,000. What are you doing? That wasn't part of our agreement. Or did you have an agreement? Okay. All right. Let's toggle that, and then let's go here. Boom. This is why. This is why I wanted to make sure we're talking, having our discussions about it. Put that in comments. All right, and I just wanted to go back to ERGJ Enterprises again. Shout out to the Black Billionaires Club. Black Billionaires is back. Ooh, and I just wanted to do wanted to make sure. Here about these real estate warning signs. Okay. Just trying something out. Wanted to make sure. Boom. Let me see where. I'm like looking for where's my, I don't see myself up here. Well, it says that I'm here. Okay. Well, let's go for it. Okay. Okay, I have to wait. Getting ahead of myself. All right. Make sure you go ahead and tag and share because we'll be talking about this. This is really important. And I apologize for my long pauses because the technology is this has changed. Like the platforms have changed. It's so fascinating. I'm so intrigued about what you can do now. It's amazing. All right, here we go. Take your notes. We're jumping into this now. Let's talk about how do you identify. This came about, and this is so true. And love it or hate it, I was watching this old movie, and it's called The Super with what's his name, Joe Pesci, and a lot of the old black actors, just kind of some of the OG black actors from back in the day. And it was really interesting to see how young they were, and the storyline has been that just very commonly, very cliche, stereotypical storyline of greedy landlord, right? This was a story of the what do they call them? A slumlord. So he was a slumlord and just wanting to collect the money from the tenants and not repairing the property. And there's a scene in there where his father tells him what to look for in property. And this rang true. Now, this movie was from the 1990s. Mind you, I was likely in elementary school when this movie came out, maybe junior high. It's the 1990s. I was in middle school. And he says, Joe Pesci's father is saying to his son, what do we look for in properties? What are the 3 things we look for? And this is why I want to go here, because if you start here, then identifying warning signs of real estate scams become that much easier. I want to start here. If we start here, then the warning signs of real estate scams and schemes become that much easier. Now, there are some pretty intricate schemes. When we were vacationing in Belize, I was covering the top real estate scams to date, right, in history. That was really fun. How we got the saying, I'll sell you a swampland, right? That was actually someone who bought a piece of swampland and he was partitioning the land off, or so he says, right? He was partitioning the land off and selling it for about $10,000. I think it was $1,000 a piece. Back during that time, that was a lot. And in any case, Joe Pesci's father, Vincent something, Giovanni, or I think was his name, says to his son, to his young budding entrepreneur, young landlord, he says, what do we look for in properties? 3 things: death, divorce, desperation. Death, divorce, desperation. Write that down. Like, seriously. Write that down. Death, divorce, desperation. I've been in this business this year.
Okay, I found this on the web for death, divorce,
Siri wrote it down. That's hilarious. And scary at the same time. This thing is scary at the same time. It's listening to me, taking those notes. Cool. Write that down. Shout out to those of you who are tuning on Already Said Real Estate Facebook page, ERGJ Enterprises, Lisa Gillett Facebook Watch channel, and of course, Black Events LA. Good, great. Note takers, thank you. Death, divorce, and desperation. 17 this year. Has not been an easy journey because it's been a long game for me. First generation in terms of real estate business, don't come from it, and I've just been learning the long game. I am currently a law student. Shout out to my school, loving my school, Northwest California University School of Law. That is a great school if you have a career, a working life, family, right, and got all these responsibilities, and allows you the flexibility to achieve this. And those of you know that I lead with education and information. And one of my professors wrote a book, or wrote a handbook that we used. I remember our first year, and says lawyers are like teachers. And your job as a lawyer is to convey very complex concepts to where a layperson can understand, right? You are that person who is teaching, and not only teaching the client consumer, but you're also teaching the jury if you do trials, or if you are a litigator, or if you ever presenting in courts. You are teaching. You can't get into court and talk all these codes and these rules. It's great to cite it for the judge, right, for the court, as to the base of your arguments, your legal arguments. But for your layperson and your jury, you've got to teach them and show them what the rule is and why it's applicable or not applicable. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm still like in school mode. All right. And here we are talking about, fast forward, these three things that do come across in various ways. Death. Why are these important things to look for? Why are these three things important to look for when identifying a good deal in real estate? Death, right? Death right now, and I've just shared this with my husband. If you have a mortgage with PHH and Ocwen Financial, Ocwen, was pretty strategic to purchase. And I'm noticing this is because this is the arena that we work in. Oh my gosh, let me just do a pause. Now I've got to do disclaimers. Let's do disclaimers. Right. Okay. The information provided on the show is not meant to be construed or should be taken as tax or legal advice. Please seek those licensed, reputable professionals regarding your unique situation. All right. Meanwhile, for those of you who are new to me, again, my name is Lisa Gillett, broker owner of Devenio Estates, serving our Southern California clientele. If you are out of state, we happily refer you to those reputable licensed professionals that we work with to assist you. So let us know. I am probate experienced and trained. I am a pricing strategy advisor. That means trained, experienced, certified. Same with short sales, and same with working with the senior community, meaning I also hold a seniors real estate specialist designation as well. I happily and enjoy working alongside attorneys and tax professionals that have to deal with the acquisition and disposition of real property. And this has been my love and joy. And this is why I continue to pursue my higher education and training in this next realm for me, because it's only to add to my CV of what I'm doing and what I continue to seek to do for our clients, for those of you who are listening, to just gain knowledge. This is in the form of edutainment. And again, gave you the disclaimer that, talk to the professionals, but I imagine you'll learn something here, right? There's always some good nugget, some real estate gem that you could gather from the show. All right, cool. Appreciate you for that. Let's get back to here. I don't know which view do I like. I like this view. Okay. Death, divorce, desperation. So when you're talking about an ideal, what are you looking for in real estate deals? The reality is that those deals do come about when either the property owner or co-owner is dealing with a death, the death of the borrower, where now the borrower, and this is where people get caught up. They think, well, my name's not on the loan, but I am on the deed, right? I'm on the title, but my name's not on the loan. So I don't have to pay it if the person, the borrower, passed away, died, then the debt dies with them. Wrong. incorrect. You better absolutely remove that from your thought process, because that lien has priority and has to be satisfied uh, uh, prior to any other, let's say, changes of ownership, or part of changes of ownership is settling the debt on the property. If there is a death, say that 5 times, right? Debts and death. I should have put number 4, right? Death, divorce, desperation, and debt. Those are the things to look for. No, but in reality, debt comes with that. It comes attached to death, because now you're dealing with the estate planning of that person if they are the sole owner. Number 2, what you're looking for is divorce, or dissolutions of marriage, or separations, partitions within tenants in common. There is a real estate. It's called the Real Property Act. Went into effect January 1st, 2023. And for any properties that are in tenants in common, as we're talking about divorce, for any properties and tenants in common, let me look this act up real quick. Yep. California, my friends. Let me drop that in here real quick. So as I discussed number 2, the Partition of Real Property Act. This is for number 2, as it relates to divorce and tenants in common. For any property that's tenants in common, then you would have to give the remaining tenants, co-tenants, who are not forcing the sale or the partition, an opportunity to buy out the interest of that who has filed for the partition. Let me say that again using examples. Abby wants to get her interest. She's a third owner. Abby, let's say Sarah and Gabby. I should have did A, B, and C like they do in school, right? Because now it's hard to remember. Let me do A, B, C. So co-tenants, Abby, Barbara, and Charlie. Abby wants her interest. She wants her 1/3. They are tenants in common. She files the partition attempting to force the sale. And so due to the Real Property Act, this is California, my friends, due to the Partition of Real Property Act that went into effect in 2023, she has to, right, and that this is the law, she has to allow the 2/3 interested owners, that's Barbara and Charlie, to buy her out. That's where deals come in. This is why I can say this has become messy, because there are people who prey on joint tenancy and tenants in common, and they will buy out the interest. So prior to this act, and this continues in other states, California has gone one extra step to further protect the current existing owners, because what is happening is that Abby could sell her third to a completely third party, and now they own it. Let's say David. Now David owns a third interest with Barbara and Charlie. Now David wants to force the sale, and he can, prior to the Partition of Real Property Act in California. In other states, you can do that. And what happens is it's almost just forcing the hand of those other owners is what it does. And what a great loss in terms of legacy and wealth as a result of this. So pay attention, right? What are we touching on here? We're touching on, identifying first. How do you recognize real deals in real estate? so that we can then discuss the warning signs of the scams. As you all are hearing about DJ Envy kind of getting tied up with a friend of his, Caesar, and his wife, I forget her name. And this is not new, but there's some things that I heard in the clip and that I've heard across, social media, different things that kind of raise an eyebrow. And this is interesting because now they are holding DJ Envy, whose platform has been about education, it's edutainment, entertainment and education at the same time. And they're wanting to hold him responsible for it. If he's now claiming to be a victim and had lost $500, $500,000 doing business with his friend, why didn't he come out and tell anybody else that was the case? Because now other people, because of his influence, right? He's a huge radio influencer. Why didn't he not come out and warn the listening audience? Did he owe that obligation? His attorney said no, he didn't owe them that. That's why we do disclaimers, right? This information is provided, is not legal or tax advice, nor is it investment advice. All right. Number 2, so we're talking about number 2, divorce. And then 3, desperation. Desperation is our third in what you look for. You know what? This is confusing. So this is where we are. Okay. So what to look for in property. Let's call it a deal, right? What to look for in a property deal. And then I'll move on. Death, divorce. The third one is desperation. If you're looking for a deal, this is why I know why my former broker used to say he's in the death business, although he, long, many years, many decades in being in real estate, having, done real estate, real property investment, property management, loans, running an escrow, etc. And now his focus has been, for a very long time, has been probates and foreclosures. And this is why, because that's where the deals are, people. It's in these 3 things. Don't believe me? Go watch the movie. This is where I was reminded from the movie called The Super, watching this movie from the 1990s. I guess all these old shows popping up does help, because now you go back and you go, they were trying to tell us something. Yes, they were trying to tell us something. So now I'm trying to tell you something, so that you will be warned, right? You will be warned. The third one, desperation. Desperation is someone is in a bad situation. I just mentioned foreclosure, facing a foreclosure. That's where you find the deals, because then people just want out. They've either got a bad tenant situation, property condition may be dilapidated, right? Deferred maintenance. I can go on with the D's, right? Death, divorce, desperation, dilapidated, deferred, and debt. Those all can fall under number 3. Debt, deferred, dilapidated properties falls under desperation, where the person says, I want out, I'm done, I'll walk away from this. I want to walk away and, just pay me this and I'm out. It's where the deals are. All right. Moving along. Got it? Good. Let's jump to what to look for now. Now let's get into our show topic here, which is the warning signs. I've got 5 for you today. Let's talk about the first 3. Pressure. Pressure bust pipe. Number 1, the pressure to act quickly, right? That call to action goes to a whole nother level, right? Once they get you in the room, you need to sign up. And then you yourself should be looking at what your situation is. In this clip, right? In this clip, let me toggle here real quick. Let me toggle here in this clip. Okay. in this clip here, they're talking about how the people who have sued ended up taking $200,000 out of their Florida home equity to give this guy right here. This guy is Cesar Pena. This is from the Breakfast Club, right? I just want to
real estate deal and one of the most recognizable voices in radio. Investors in a real estate venture say they were swindled out of millions of dollars. And they argue syndicated radio rapper Rashawn Casey, better known as DJ Envy from the show The Breakfast Club, promoted these deals. Investigative reporter Sarah Wallace talked to the alleged victims and has the response to those mounting accusations you're about to hear for the first time.
We've helped so many people, not just regular people, but celebrities, athletes, executives.
That's DJ Envy on his syndicated iHeart radio show, The Breakfast Club. He's often promoted the...
He's saying we get a bunch of people, millions of dollars, and what do you charge them? Nothing. Right? He's talking to the guy.
Real estate venture of his...
And then she says, look at this. This is the guy. Look at this. His face looks... He's warning. I'm going to go ahead. Warning 5, number 5. His face is right here. Just tells it. I don't know. I don't know if I'd do business with this guy. Just his face. She says, I forget her name. What's her name? Somebody put her name in here. She says, she says, that's not adding up. It's not adding up. Millions of dollars. People are making millions of dollars and you're not charging them. Drop it in the comments below. That's not adding up.
His pal, Cesar Pena.
You might know him on Instagram as Flippin' NJ.
But it's more than just a passing endorsement.
You can partner with us on some deals. Make some money with us.
Envy and Cesar have teamed up for...
Look at his face. Look at this guy. This is the guy. Millions of dollars. It's just
seminars, including one at the Jacob Javits Convention Center, pitching opportunities to flip properties, often in distressed areas of New Jersey.
We invested $200,000 and looks like we're never going to get it back.
Jose Santiago and his wife, Jessica Ortiz, say they believed investing in this neighborhood of Patterson would be their ticket to the American dream.
That's the reason why I got into real estate, so we can actually start flipping properties.
All right. Let's talk about this. She said that's why I got into real estate. She already was in real estate and she pulled out $200,000 out of her home to get in real estate to flip properties. Please, if you have not seen the episode that I did with Marietta Martinez. If you have not seen that episode, we talked about the definition of a dealer and the definition of an investor. If you're doing short game, you're called a dealer. Fixing and flipping is a dealer. You are not an investor. Okay, let's go there. Long game, long term, you are an investor. So here's the warning signs, because that was enough of a clip to kind of point out where this went wrong for them. And I really wish them well that litigation can bring about the truth, right? Let's bring out the truth. That's the tough things with litigation, is that sometimes there's partial truths and then people settle and you ultimately don't really get the truth that you want unless you're suing for principle. So we'll see how that pans out. But that it works out for them, because what they started to say is they pulled $200,000 out of their house and they're now making payments on that, right? With nothing to show. That's a lot of money, people. That is a lot of money. Okay, number 1, warning sign, pressure to act quickly, right? Whether it's a radio ad, it's someone talking to you face to face, they've got a video to show you, they've got, a group call for you to join, they've got a Zoom call for you to join, but they can't explain it to you. You got to see it, and then you got to hear it from the other person. I get it's one thing for someone who may not feel confident about pitching a sales, pitch. I get that part, but then they seem to all have the same formula of you got to listen, right? You got to watch this video type thing, and then you got to act now, right now. Can't process the information, can't ask questions. And one of the things when I share with people is when you get into any contract, any business deal, I'm going to repeat the statement that I just repeated on Monday. I do not see how people are making it through life without a badass secretary. Straight up. Life is full of paperwork. Full of paperwork. Monday, I was like opening my mail. I'm responding to things from like 4 years ago, 3 years ago. I'm responding to things from last year, just administratively. If you are in existence and you are a functioning citizen, meaning you have a job, you have a social, you have a business, life is paperwork. You have children, custody, child support, you're married, there's spousal support, there's just all kinds of stuff. When I say spousal support, I don't mean necessarily monetary. I mean just literally supporting the spouse in their stuff or just life. Okay, that's my thing. Number 2, second warning sign, request for upfront payments. If someone is asking for you for upfront payment, listen, get a receipt and get it ironed out very clear. All the more reason you should have a legal team. This is what I say to my seniors. Don't make any real estate decisions without consulting a real estate professional and or attorney. Have someone look over those contracts. Elder and financial abuse is a real thing. And if someone's asking for money up front, and I'm baffled, like truth be told, these are my anecdotes I'm going to share. Truth be told, I know people that have given up money with nothing in writing. 60,000, 10,000 here, nothing in writing, 100,000. Someone did get something notarized, but it had no expiration date or maturity date for when the borrower was supposed to pay that person back. The 100,000, is it 100,000 plus no interest? Just be clear. I know you all have good intent. You want to help people out. And then there's one thing, why are you doing it? Because the person that loaned the person $100,000, he's like, oh, this person's it's to, develop, housing. And I'm like, okay, so how much are you going to get from that? Couldn't answer me. Could not answer what's your percentage? What's your return? What is your ROI? What's the ROI, return on investment? Before you jump into real estate investing, there are probably a couple more things you should learn, right? Let's talk about that now. Return. Let's call it cash on cash, return on investment. Guess what? It's right in this book that Anthony and I talked about. Real Estate 100, the Teen and Millennial Investment Blueprint. Return on investment. Cash on cash, return on investment. Learn that. The other thing you should learn is insurance. Insurance on the property and construction of any renovation. As we're talking about flips and flops, having the proper insurance in play. If your money's going to be tied up in someone's investment in fixing and flipping, I'd ask them for a copy of the insurance where it shows that their materials and whatnot, right, that stuff is covered. Because if your money's being pulled in with other people, or maybe it's just your money being used for investment purposes, and it's a fix and flip project, the last thing you want to hear is someone stole the drywall, the plywood, the toilet, the sink, that $800 stove, $1,000 refrigerator, the light fixtures, And last thing you want to hear is someone say they stole it and we need more money to replace it. Make sure you know about insurance. So ROI, right? Return on investment, and your cash on cash return on investment, insurance, things you should pay attention to. And then the third one, warning sign, is the lack of documentation. Like not having a real paper trail. What's scary is AI can now create paper trails that don't exist. In fact, there was an attorney who got in trouble for citing cases that did not exist when he submitted his motion. AI is about 86% correct. So this lack of documentation is going to be blurry. Again, I'm going to defer. Make sure you have a real estate professional or attorney, someone who's savvy, experienced, and is your advocate. You should have an advocate. It's okay if you do business with other people, but you should have a fiduciary agent, someone who's looking out for your interests to help you out with this. There's nothing wrong with getting another professional on board. Say, hey, I'm looking to invest in this. Number 4, unbelievable deals. I've also heard this one recently. This came about during the pandemic. A client of mine said that they invested some money. They wouldn't have access to their money for about a year or two. And same thing, right? Not being clear of what the return was, or the return was some exorbitant amount, some unrealistic amount. Come on, folks. You know the saying, if it's too good to be true, it just might not be true. Watch out for those unbelievable deals. And if it's the reason, and be careful, right? $200,000 they've invested in this. With $200,000, what should have happened is they should have hired a coach. There are many great real estate coaches out there to show you and guide you. But you wanting to give $200,000 to someone else and say you do it, you're not questioning their proven system. And I guess that's the hard thing in this, and what's being discussed right now is because people were moved and influenced by the personality. And this is not the first time influencers, celebrities, and athletes have gotten in trouble behind using their face power or voice power to persuade or influence people's decision making. I remember Kim K got sued she got fined by the Securities Exchange Commission for talking about some crypto product on her social media platform. There's about 3 of them that got fined for that. Not allowed to do that. No. There's compliance and regulations with giving that type of advice and not being registered, right? Or not, because that stuff is regulated. Real estate will always be one of those things that people want to talk about, want to get in, want to have. And there's a laundry list of so many other ways you can get into this business without losing your money, without losing your integrity. Integrity I have to bring up because I am a broker agent. Integrity I have to bring up because when things get tough, like it is in this market, if you didn't know, interest rates are 7.5%. The aim is to get interest rates to 8% next year. By next year, it looks like we might just hit that by December. And with interest rates being that high, what does that do to pricing? They have an inverse relationship. It's supposed to bring it down. And while people are talking about whether it's a market crash or this is the best time to jump in, be mindful of getting caught up in these real estate schemes. And the last one here, I'm going to wrap this up, you guys. You guys have been great. Thanks for hanging with me. And shout out to those of you listening on the radio podcast. Unprofessional behavior or tactics. like that guy. He just, when he's asked questions, I don't. And his moniker is Caesar, Where's My Money Pena. I'm not laughing at you or anyone who has been caught up in this. It's sad that he made a hustle out of it. He just figured out another hustle, figured out another way. And as a Ponzi scheme, he's borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. And they're alleging that his name was not even on some of these properties that he was working on or supposedly flipping. Name or an investment ownership in it. And that multiple parties' funds were being used for one particular property. So look out for those unprofessional behavior tactics that I called out earlier. When he was called to pay up, he dropped off his jewelry and said, hold this. This is worth $15,000 and $20,000. No, I didn't bring you jewelry when you asked me to invest. I didn't bring you jewelry. I brought you money, real money. Now I've got to go liquidate your jewelry that may or may not be real. Come on. That's unprofessional. Quit with the semantics and the tactics. That's not cool. Not cool at all. All right, we'll wrap this up. Listen, if you or someone you know needs some assistance today, give me a call, shout out, send me an email, lisa@lasuperaagent.com. Again, that's lisa@lasuperaagent.com. You can send me an email, 323-488-3265. Drop a text. I am pretty responsive, 323-488-3265. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week on this information-packed episode on Ready, Set, Real Estate. Appreciate you. Have a fantastic and productive week, y'all. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Ready, Set, Real Estate podcast with Lisa Gillett, the LA Super Agent. Please like, subscribe, and share LA